Hello, my name is Leanna, and I am a Master's of Social Work student at the University of Utah. I'm presenting Parenting Insight and Tips, and these are evidence-based principles from the book Parenting from the Inside Out. This is a good book for understanding yourself as maybe the primary caregiver of a child and how you can interact with your child to provide for them a good and safe space and create a good relationship. So my disclaimer is I'm not here to shame, blame, or compare parenting. My goal is to provide education, knowledge, support, insight about certain parenting styles. So take what works and leave what doesn't. Chapter 5 of this book talks about attachment, which is speaking to the relationships between parent and child. And this chapter is really important for understanding not only how we can interact best with children to provide a safe and secure attachment for them, but how we have also formed our own attachments and how we can understand ourselves better, maybe affect the way that we perceive the world so that we can better help and support our children. So, what is attachment? This is the bond created between the child and the caregiver. The attachment is basically the relationship, the way that one behaves with another and predicts how those interactions and experiences will go, if they will be managed well and that a person will be heard, or if they will go maybe unwell or poorly. So that affects how a child views themselves and the world. So attachment influences social interactions and friendships or with other children. It affects a child's sense of security in exploring the world if they feel safe to do so or anxious in doing so. It influences any sort of distress tolerance. It influences the ability to regulate emotions. Attachment influences the capacity to develop that narrative about our lives that helps us be organized and predict what's going to happen, be able to orient ourselves in the world. And it affects the creation of meaningful interpersonal relationships in the future. So this can look like social relationships, relationships at work, and can affect the child becoming a parent in their future or interacting with a romantic partner. So secure attachment is what we aim for. Secure attachments create a safe space for the child to grow in and provide a launching pad for exploring the world with curiosity and confidence. So the secure attachments allow the child to feel that they have a place where they are known, where they are heard, where they are cared for, and that gives them the ability to go into the world knowing that they have a safe space to return to, that the world is a place that will receive them and that they can interact with in a safe way because they know how to regulate emotions and they have resilience to stress and they know how to navigate social relationships. So all of that is found in secure attachments. How do we create secure attachments? The book provides the ABCs of attachment. So A is attachment, aligning your own internal state with those of your children. So being aware of them, observing them, telling them the stories of their experiences, reading their verbal and nonverbal signs. Then the B is for balance. So a child finding balance in their body, which includes their emotions and states of mind, through that connection with you as a primary caregiver, which puts you in a role of helping them to find that balance, helping them to regulate emotions so that they can eventually do it on their own, and that emotions or certain thoughts are not things to fear or lead them to a path of self-doubt, but rather leads them to a place of confidence and knowing of what to expect. C is for coherence. This is the sense of integration that is acquired by the child through the relationship. So this is how they integrate themselves both in the world and with themselves. So to other people, how they view and interact with other people, and then how they view and interact with themselves. So there are other types of attachment that arise when a parent is maybe not as attuned or responsive to the child. So these insecure attachments arise in different ways. Avoidant happens when the parent is emotionally unavailable, they're imperceptive or unresponsive, and sometimes rejecting. So this can kind of just seem like an apathetic parent. The child is crying and a parent might not notice. They might be distracted when they are caring for the child. The child does not receive like a lot of cuddling and coddling, but they're kind of cared for in a way where there's a barrier or a wall or not a really strong, caring, and thoughtful attachment. And as the child grows, this can result in a sort of relationship where the child avoids the parent and doesn't really have a deep or emotional connection to the parent. Then there's ambivalent attachment, and this is when there's inconsistency. So the parent may be available and perceptive and responsive sometimes, and other times they're not. They're maybe not there. They're not reading the signs that the child is trying to communicate. And this can result in a child being more anxious as they grow in relationships. They're maybe stressed or anxious to leave the parent. They are stressed in their interactions with other people because they don't know what to expect. They don't know if they will be cared for or if they will be rejected. Disorganized is usually what occurs in an abusive relationship, and it's when the child experiences fear and alarm. They're disoriented to the parent because a parent is supposed to be providing that care and that warmth and love to the child. And in an abusive atmosphere, the parent is causing that alarm and fear to the child. And so the child experiences this disorganization where they feel like they want to turn to the person who is hurting them. And that creates a lot of problems for a child in the future because they don't know how to regulate themselves, their emotions, and it creates a lot of problems. So, what a lot of the understanding attachment does for us is it helps us understand how we organize ourselves in the world, how we interact with the people around us as adults. And so, understanding how we can affect that attachment style for our children, it puts them on a path for hopefully success by understanding these things and secure attachment. And the book even says that if there are certain attachments that developed early on, the attachment style can be changed as the parenting relationship changes in the future, even as the child grows into adolescence and adulthood. So there's always hope for changing how we interact with the children and the people in our lives. And if you need more help, then you can reach out to any sort of therapist and they can give you some more insight to that. Good luck with parenting.